Hello folks, this video is designed to give you an overview of the Smith & Wesson model SW99. This handgun is in the .40 caliber, at least mine is, and I've had it for about 10 years. It's got a steel frame on top, has a polymer frame on the bottom with the trigger guard, trigger, and I purchased an additional grip. It's a rubber grip for easier handling. This model here is a 4.5-inch barrel. On the frame you'll notice that it has the magazine release switch, one here and one here. In order to drop the magazine, what you will do is you will apply pressure, downward pressure on your switch, and it drops the magazine. See there? In order to slide the slide back and lock it into place, you've got a locking mechanism right here. You will slide it backwards and then lock it up in place. Now you'll notice that when I slid the unit back, there was a round chambered. And the reason why I keep a round chambered is because there's no sense in having a handgun if you're not going to keep it loaded. I think it's important to always be ready to defend yourself, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to carry a weapon that is not loaded and try to convince the perpetrator to stop doing what he's doing, so give you time to load your weapon so you can defend yourself. My philosophy is be ready to defend yourself or be ready to die. And in my case, I'm ready for both. Now, you'll notice this weapon now is empty. I'll show you chamber. Okay, see how it's empty? I'll look down the barrel. The barrel's, if I can get it back, there we go. Show you that it's empty. Now what I want to do is I want to allow the slide to release forward, so I'm just going to depress or push down the locking mechanism right here. Okay. Now what I want to do is to go over some of the features. First of all, you have what's called the rear adjustable sights. They are available in tritium sights. It also has a front ramp sight which is not adjustable. It too is available in tritium. These are not tritium, these are regular sights. The tritium is designed to give you better lighting in dark conditions. It helps you better visibility in dark conditions. If you'll notice on the very back of the weapon, you see this little pin sticking out. This pin is what's called the cocking indicator pin. That means that this pin, when it's sticking out, is ready. The weapon is ready to fire. That means the weapon is cocked. There's another feature that allows this weapon to become decocked without actually squeezing the trigger to fire around. It's called the decocking mechanism. You'll see it right here at the top, right forward, just forward of the rear sight. What you do in order to decock the weapon is to squeeze it down or push it down, and you'll watch the pin disappear. Okay, now the weapon is decocked. Now this weapon is double action, which means that it can fire even though it's not cocked. You can squeeze. Now let me just show you again just to verify. This weapon is empty. There's nothing in the chamber. So I'm going to show you that you can squeeze a round off even though it's not cocked. Now when you do squeeze a round off just like that, and if it was chambered, if there was one chambered, the round would when it fires would create enough force to force the slide back and then release again, chambering another round, and it would be cocked and ready to fire. Now something about this weapon that I really like, one of the features, is that this weapon is can go to what's called half cock mode. Squeeze the trigger halfway without firing it. Now it is in a very sensitive state to where you can apply not much pressure at all and fire a round. Now this is where I would want to keep my weapon, my handgun, at half-cock mode if, for example, I'm entering into some kind of a combat situation, or if I have to defend myself at home. Say I'm at home and I hear someone break in. then I would want my weapon to be in this position, half cocked. That way it's very easy to squeeze off a round, and when the round goes off, it rechambers another one. If it's not in half cock mode, then it's in what I would call the double action mode, and you would have to apply more pressure in order to squeeze off the round. Now, something interesting I want you to notice now, I do have it in half cock mode. I'm going to decock the weapon right now and watch the trigger go forward. Okay, now it's not cocked and it's in full mode. I didn't squeeze off the whole round, but notice it does not lock into half position here when it's not been cocked. Now, what I want to do is demonstrate the disassembling of the Smith Wesson SW99. I'm going to grab the releases. This is the there's one on this side here. There's one on this side as well, just forward of your trigger. You grab it with your thumb and your index finger, squeezing very tightly, and then sliding down. Okay, I don't know if you heard that, but it clicked, and it releases the slide. What you do now is you slide it forward, and your weapon is disassembled as far as the frame and the slide go. Now, look at the insides of the frame. You can see when you squeeze the trigger, you can watch the mechanisms move. See there how it moves. And it's important to keep these things clean, keep them free of dust. You can get, say, for example, one of these dust removers and just blow it out real good. That's one way of doing it, of just removing any excess dust right there. And then when you clean it, obviously you want to use the any standard powder remover. You want to clean any excess powders that may have accumulated in here. Just clean it thoroughly. And then after cleaning it, then you want to put a drop of oil on the slide rails. You've got 4 rails. I'll show them to you. They're shiny. You can see them. There's one right here. There's one on this side here. There's one in the back. And then one on this side right here in the back as well. See it? Okay, these are the slide rails. That's what the actual the grooves slide into. You can see the grooves right here. There's one. And then here's your other one right there. Okay, you can see them. And these grooves, after having put a drop of oil on each one of these, let me also further demonstrate the removal of the spring. You notice the position that it's in. You see how it's locked in place. You just apply forward pressure, and it releases it, and then it also drops the barrel. You just take the barrel and slide it out like that. Now you have the weapon now is totally disassembled, and I will show you what it looks like. Let me just put it here. Okay, let me slide this forward. Alright, the weapon is totally disassembled. Now, let's get back here. Okay. Now what I want to do is reassemble the weapon after having cleaned it. Now when you clean the barrel, also when you swab it after having shot it, you want to take your swab and go the direction that the bullet travels. Clean the dirt away from the action. Even though it really doesn't matter too much in this particular scenario, because the weapon is totally disassembled, and any dirt that you clean out, even if you did clean it the direction of the action, there is no action for it to go into. But just try to practice good cleaning habits and allow the cleaning swab to go from the action side out the muzzle side. Okay. Now, let's put it back together. First thing you want to do is you want to grab the slide. This is the muzzle section of the slide here. Take your barrel, and you notice that this portion is pointing upward. Okay, it's up. So you'll take your barrel, slide it back into the muzzle, and just let it fall on through, just like that. Now, push it back into its proper position, just like you see here. See there? It's back in its right position. Now you take your spring Now the spring, you want to take the smooth end. You've got a dimpled end right here. Take the smooth end, put it toward the muzzle, and it fits right inside this hole here. See there? Now it's just laying there in its place. Now what you do is you reapply forward pressure and then lock it back into its position. See there? Now it's locked back in place. That secures the barrel. Now, you take the slide and allow it to slide over the 4 rails, just like this, and then push it all the way back until it locks in place. There it is, it's locked in place. Now, what you do is, after cleaning it, you want to take 1 drop of oil, maybe 2 drops, and just put it on the very top of your barrel right here. And it helps lubricate all the way around on the inside, and it helps it with the action. It just keeps it lubricated right there in the action. All right, now I'm going to reinsert. Well, before I do that, let me lock the slide back. I'm going to rechamber the round. Got a round back in it. I'm going to allow the slide to go forward. I'm going to decock the weapon. Okay, you see it's not cocked, but I do have one chambered. I'm going to reinsert the magazine. Now, this is the way I carry my weapon 24/7. Now, in situations where you need to be ready to enter into some kind of defense mode, then you don't have to try to load the weapon, especially if it's a situation where you either are going to defend yourself or defend someone else. Always keep the round chambered, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Always keep it chambered. Now, in a situation where you are at home and someone, you hear and you know someone has in fact broken into your home, and what you do, now in my case, let me drop the magazine again. Okay, I'm going to remove the round from the chamber. Okay, now the weapon is cocked. See here? See the cocking indicator? It shows you that the weapon is cocked. I'm going to show you again that the round, it's empty. I just took the round out. Okay, it's empty. Now I'm going to allow the slide to go forward. Now what I have is a cocked weapon, and I'm going to show you the half-cocked position. See, I put it in half-cocked position without firing a round. Now, the reason why I wanted to demonstrate this to you is because now it's in a situation where it does not take a whole lot of pressure to fire the round. And when you're at home and you hear someone coming in, that's the position you want that trigger to be in. It's ready to fire, and it's very sensitive. Now, I'm going to decock it. Watch the trigger move forward. See there? It's no longer cocked. And now it takes more pressure. You have to exert more pressure. And even if there was I'll just show you. I'm going to reinsert the magazine. Now do not try this at home. I'm just showing you something. Now there's one chambered. I'm going to go half cocked. And you can do that if you know your weapon. It is half cocked. There is one chambered, and it's ready to fire. Okay? I'm going to decock it now. It's decocked. I'm going to drop the magazine. I'm going to reload or reinsert the round into the magazine. Now I've got 10 rounds in this magazine. I've got one now in the chamber, and I'm going to reinsert the magazine. Now, this is the way I keep my weapon 24/7. It's important to keep one chambered for protection. You folks have a good day and enjoy shooting.